909 in Studio is brought to you by 90.9 The Bridge in Kansas City. To find out how you can become a sustaining member or to donate, go to bridge909.org.
Right now, Todd Parkmore, down the hall in Studio A with our own John Hart, live on the bridge.
Such a pleasure to have Todd Parkmore back in the studios. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed Terminal B. It was
I did.
It was a little crowded out there coming in at Christmas time.
Yeah.
You guys are out on tour and working really hard, so we know that doing this is sort of extra duty, and we really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the new album, New World Horizon. It's
Thanks.
really great.
Thank you.
You know, it's sort of it's a rock record. I'm guessing it's fun to play.
It is very fun to play, yes. It's loud guitars, very aggressive. I do a lot of background house kicks during the performances.
So, of course, the show is tonight at the Uptown Theater. You know, you've been sort of leaking a song out here and there for a few months, so we're finally glad to have the full. There were a couple of songs, Wipeout Turn, New World Horizon, that are maybe 4 or 5 years old. The rest of them are pretty recent, except for Glow in Mind, and those date back 20 years.
Yeah.
Were you just holding them until you had that rock record?
Oddballs. They were on the shelf for a while. They were just a little bit too aggressive / alternative and not what the label was looking for. So they ended up being on the shelf.
But they sound pretty great now.
Thank you. I'm glad you think so.
Yeah. You also took inspiration for this record from Jimi Hendrix.
We did one Jimi Hendrix cover, which is called A Room Full of Mirrors. It was one of his later tracks and was also covered by the Pretenders, but it just seemed to fit in.
You kind of used a little bit of the Pretenders arrangement.
I did, yes.
So that's
a little more 2 and 4.
So you had all these tracks, and they're pretty well rehearsed when you went into the studio. You kind of knocked out the basic tracks anyway in 6 days.
That's true, yes. Pretty quick recording. I've gotten in the habit of working quickly and just trying to prepare everybody really well. I don't like spending a lot of time begrudging, wrangling it out. I found that my band is really good if, we just go in and play.
Well, we would love to hear some music if we could.
Okay. I'm going to do a song called Damaged One.
There was a touch of madness, advances so reckless. Then came the sweet day when your walls came down. There was no trace of malice. I never thought I would have it. I got it so wrong. Our love was so wrong, but so fun and so fine. Damaged one. You ran off and left me, turned me to a lawless gun. You left one cold September that let us now ash and ember. Now we don't talk, yeah, you don't call anymore. This judge ain't sentimental. See, life is a rental car, but I wanted a home. I wanna go home right now. Right now. I was already the damaged one. You ran on and left me, turned me to a law. Our love was so wrong. We should have been done by now. I was already
One of our favorites. The new record is New World Horizon, Big Head Todd and the Monsters, joined today by Todd Parkmore live in the Bridge Studios. This is this record, you recorded those basic tracks in the E-Town studios in Boulder.
I did, yes.
There have been a couple records that you've recorded in your own solar-powered studio.
Uh-huh.
Do you still have that?
I do, but I got electricity. I'm on the grid now.
It's funny. I just love you've described environmentalism as your litmus issue for anything political, and I think that one of the things about your environmental streak is that you've really experimented with like how far you can take it. You lived off the land for a couple of years there in a hand-built teepee.
Yeah, well. Things went downhill when things got better. You know what I mean? I had such a great experience in that teepee. I heard the elk buelling and, deers walking by. And, I lost when I moved inside. I missed that. So things went downhill for me when I got walls.
So leaving the teepee behind, was that because of the bear attack?
Yeah, my mom came up to visit once, and I was on the road, and all of my things were strewn across the hillside. It turned out a bear came in, and he ate aerosol cans, steel gas cans. I mean, bears are hungry critters. It was amazing, the stuff that he destroyed.
This teepee was like 23 feet tall, something like that.
Yeah, it was a 23 feet in diameter, and the poles were 27 feet tall.
And you cut those yourself?
I did. I have some property near Steamboat Springs, and there's a lot of trees.
Yeah, you'd fallen in love with that property. Your dad had sort of been around there when he first.
Yeah, he immigrated to that area, which is called Yampa, in 1957. So I have some attachment to that.
Yeah. It's funny you talked about getting electricity because it's hard to sort of leave some of the creature comforts behind. And I read that you living in a teepee, but go back to mom and dad's for the shower.
Yeah, I had a very fortunate experience. Truly, I mean, it was a really marvelous thing, and I still have it, so it's doubly great.
Yeah, I know you're on a short timeline, so we'd love to have another song.
Sure.
If we could.
All right.
Just waiting for the next nervous breakdown. Just waiting for the next major meltdown. Full time, night time, never see a sunrise. Detonator, detonator, why did you have to lie? Vital matches strike in time to light the fuse and get away. You pushed me too far this time, girl, now you're gonna that you're gonna pay. Temperamental thing, now ain't you, but I know you turned me on. Just waiting for the next nervous breakdown. Just waiting for the next major meltdown. Full time, night time, never see a sunrise. Detonator, detonator, why did you have to lie? Your eyes, they flash like candles lighting up the thunderstorms at night. I laugh as you fly off the handle. You say you love me, you say you have no right. All I ever wanted was your happiness. You say you lied. Yes, I lied. up our best intentions. I messed up, but I still had half a chance. Holding out for perfection rather than having a broken up romance. I can fly away with you, my secret love. I'll see you around. Just waiting for the next nervous breakdown. Living it up for the next major meltdown. Full time, night time, never see a sunrise. Detonator, detonator, why did you have to lie? Detonator, 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 detonator.
You all right?
Barely. I'm going to tune while you're talking.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, this will give me a chance to plug the show tonight at the Uptown Theater. Todd Parkmore leading Big Head Todd and the Monsters tonight. It's going to open up at 7:30 with Bob and Una Walkenhorst doing their new debut. They're going to be doing a duo thing in 2018. Looking forward to that release. Followed by Making Movies around 8. Raylan Baxter comes on after Making Movies, and then Big Head Todd and the Monsters. The new album is New World Horizon. They'll have it, I'm sure, at the merch table tonight, and it is an amazing piece of work. It's their 11th studio album, and it's well worth whatever it is they're charging tonight.
Maybe you can get it for free somewhere. That's not going to bug me at all.
Well, you know, you gave away about, what, 500,000 copies of All the Love You Need a few years
as
ago?
An experiment, yeah.
I mean, we were part of that. We mailed out copies of that to all of our...
Yeah, it's so sweet. Thank you.
Well, it was sweet of you. Come on. That was really great. You know, I think the thing that I just really... One of the things that I really love about your band is that you've been doing this for over 30 years. You've got 11 records out, but you're not done growing.
Yeah.
And you're not... You know, you've been described as a polymath. And
what's that?
That is somebody whose interests go, like you have a voracious appetite for all kinds of different subject matters, all kinds of different worlds, all kinds of different music. So you are very broad.
That's very nice. Thank you.
And, you know, you just get I get the sense that when you sit down to write a song, you're still excited about the prospects.
Yeah, you know, I look at the world as, you know, you look at politics and all the division and the difficulties that human beings experience. Culture has a lot to do with that. Ultimately, I think, you know, my job is I write culture. I'm an author of culture, and as is every artist and musician, and you know, and you are too. And so there's a deep responsibility, I think, in that, which is, you know, basically to give people pleasure, but also hope that somehow insight can arise out of that. And so that's my job. And I take it, I'm very fortunate to have it. But also, music is such a thing that there's always learning to be done. And the most important music that I've learned about has been more recent than anything else, which is blues, like old blues and folk, you know, like pre-war blues and folk, acoustic stuff. And so that was an incredible discovery for me. Really re-energized my batteries creatively. But yeah, I think my whole group is chomping at the bit. We're excited to play music, and we have things to say.
So, you know, the interest in the blues, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about your tribute projects to Robert Johnson and Willie Dixon. You actually toured with that and took some of those guys on the road.
Yes.
So what's it like having a guy, 100 years old on the tour bus?
Yeah, well, initially we were a little concerned because there was two gentlemen, one David Honeyboy Edwards and another, his name was Hubert Sumlin. Hubert was 85 and Honeyboy was 95, and they were on the bus with us for a couple months, and it was a rigorous schedule. And man, those guys don't sleep. They stay up all night and talk and talk, and you know, so it was an incredible experience for us. You
know, I saw a video where you were sort of channeling Honeyboy Edwards and some of the advice that he gave you.
Oh, cool.
You know, I think the quote was, "You can lay a man down with one note."
Oh yeah, that's his line. That's what he told me.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. There's such a long history of rock bands that sort of whether people realized it or not, grew out of the blues.
That's
you
right.
know, Zeppelin, Stones, all kinds of folks like
Yep.
that.
They were major emulators of the blues, and they really idolized many of the blues stars of their era, obviously.
You said that you had just recently sort of been inspired by sort of
Yeah.
the acoustic early blues, but you were a blues fan at 13.
Yeah, I loved electric blues. I loved Muddy Waters and B.B. King and Albert King. Those are my favorites.
You know, having those loves, it must have been it must
A
have
weird kid, yeah.
Well,
I was.
I wasn't going to go there.
That's okay.
Extraordinary, maybe. But early on in your career, you guys opened up for Robert Plant.
We did. In the middle '90s, we opened for Robert Plant for a couple months, and that was quite a thrill. He had an incredible group and did a lot of Zeppelin stuff too. So it was tremendous.
Did you get a chance to visit with him much?
Yeah.
Because he just seems to be the ultimate musicologist.
He is. He's a very passionate person about music, as you know, and he's also kind of like a 10-year-old in a lot of ways. He's got a lot of just lovely emotion.
Yeah. We just sort of touched briefly on still being excited by songwriting. And I think that just as way of an example, it's like, in the not too distant past, you've been playing around with the lyrics on the Woody Guthrie website. You also took you set a songwriting challenge for yourself, the Daily Donut, a few years back.
Yeah, that was something I did a few times, which is just commit to a certain amount of time. In the case of Daily Donut, it was, I think, from Thanksgiving to Christmas. So it was a lengthy period of time, and I wrote a song every single day and performed it and put it on YouTube every single day. It was based on the news, and that was a disaster. That's what made it. I mean, seriously, that's really what burned me out on the whole thing. It seemed like a good idea at the time, and it was a good experiment for a songwriter, but I'll never do it again.
Well, the new album is called New World Arising, the continuing evolution of Big Head Todd and the Monsters. Really special piece of work.
Thank you.
We're graced by your presence today again.
Cool.
Thank you so much. We'd love one more song
Sure.
if we could.
So this is kind of special for me because you let me have the microphone. So I was asked recently what my favorite song was, and I thought about it for a split second, and it's "This Is Your Land." So I got a little Woody Guthrie in me. I'm going to sing it for you, if it's okay with you. You can handle it, right?
As I was walking on a ribbon of highway, I saw above me an endless skyway. I saw below me a golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, I followed my footsteps from the sparkling sands of a diamond desert. And all around me, a voice was chanting, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. The sun was shining, I was strolling, wheat fields waving, the dust clouds rolling. Fog was lifting, a voice was chanting, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking, I saw a sign there On one side it said no trespassing. On the other side it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. That side was made for you and me. The shadow of the steeple in the heart of the city. Near the relief office I see my people. Some are grumbling, some are wondering. This land still made for you and me? Is this land still made for you and me? This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Missouri River. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.
That was a really special moment.
Cool.
That was good.
I'm glad.
You know, that maybe somebody's already done it, but I think you could write a book about that song, right?
I agree.
And it's always interesting when people decide to leave out a verse because, you know, they want to sanitize it a little bit.
You can't sanitize the world, really, right?
Yeah. That was really great.
Thanks.
Todd Park Moore in our studios today. And, of course, Big Head Todd and the Monsters on stage tonight at the Uptown Theater. The new album, New World Arising, their 11th studio album, is out, and it is great. We've been playing multiple tracks, and we'll continue to do so into the future. Thanks for your artistry. Cool. Thanks for growing. Thanks for showing up today and sharing your gifts.
My pleasure.
Todd Park Moore today on The Bridge.